Hello and welcome to Jennifer Knatters. I am Jennifer and this is my knitting and nattering video podcast. This is already take 4 and I haven't gotten past the introduction yet. Today is the 24th of November. It is just a few days before the American Thanksgiving. So if you celebrate, happy Thanksgiving. And yes, it will be more difficult this year not being able to get together with family and friends. As an American living in the UK, I know a lot about that. We usually there's a couple other families to whom we usually extend an invitation to join us for Thanksgiving. I'd say about half the time we get to have someone else over with us, and half the time it is just our family. And as the only raised in American in our family, my children are American, but they have been born and raised here in Scotland, it really isn't the same. They don't really understand it. It's definitely something we do to humor me. So I hope you're able to make a good holiday out of it. Do something nice for yourself. Only cook your favorite foods. Don't cook the things that you don't like but are expected. So yeah, happy Thanksgiving. I think it is good to have a day to stop, especially in this year, to stop and think of what we are thankful for, because it has been a really, really rough year. And some days being able to just say, I made it this far. This year, that is a particular accomplishment. So yes, I am thankful for all the people who are staying home, who are not putting anyone else at risk, just to have a moment of normalcy. So for those of you here in the UK, there's been a lot of holidays recently. Diwali and Rosh Hashanah and a few others. A lot of people have given up things, given up family, given up being together, given up what you were taught to expect the holiday should look like, so that we can all be safe and still be here next year. There is a vaccine. There are 3 vaccines on the horizon. We just have to get through this winter. And hopefully next autumn and winter, as we come through all these holidays again, we'll be able to get together. We just need to get through this. So yeah, that's what I'm thankful for. I am thankful for all the people sacrificing the illusion of normalcy so that we can still all be here, as many of us as possible, be here next year. So happy Thanksgiving. And then we can start setting up Christmas. As I mentioned last time, these are not Christmas lights. These are staving off the darkness lights. Now with added twinkle. No one has ever complained about the twinkle, but if the twinkle does bother you, please let me know. Although you may not have even gotten this far. If the twinkle does bother you, please let me know and I will just have them on steady. And if you can hear the rain, I hope you like it, because there's not a lot I can do about finding a time to record when it is not raining. That one's fairly constant here in northern Scotland. So that seems like a good introduction, huh? It's a lot of introduction. And as I mentioned, that is like the 3rd or 4th time I have tried to get this all out in a coherent way. In one of the ones that I have cut out, I had a whole thing about how I have not been able to make a cup of tea this month. That at least a third of the times I go to make tea, it ends badly, and by badly I mean without tea. There haven't been like any kettles overflowing or anything, but there has been not as much tea as I have been trying to make. Yeah, so I'm a little bit scatterbrained. I am definitely having an extra ADD month, and we'll just try to get through this. I do not have a whole heck of a lot to talk about. It's pretty much all socks. Spoiler alert, it's all socks. It's not quite all socks. Gosh, I'm a bit loopy today. I do have a finished object, although calling it a finished object is a slight bit of a cheat because these were actually knit last year. And if you watched last week's podcast, I talked about some problems they had. One of them was a full color repeat longer than the other in the leg, and then had a couple of drop stitches in the heel and foot. I'm pointing at this one. I do not know which sock is which. So I had to, they were top down, so I had to rip back. I think I cut off the toe and then ripped back to just above the, or to the repeats above the heel to make them the same length. Reknit, put a thing in for the afterthought heel, reknit the foot and the toe and the heel, and now I have a pair of socks I can actually wear this year. So that is nice. These have been worn, but they are, this is the West Yorkshire Spinners, and I've got gaps. I don't really care all that much. West Yorkshire Spinners Fairy Lights. This was last year's Christmas color. You can get it again this year with sparkle. And then this is something mint, chocolate mint maybe, or apple, or I don't remember. It's the green. And when I weighed that sock, when I weighed the West York, the Fairy Lights color when it was done, even with the color repeat that I had cut off, not counting that, I had 50 grams of yarn left. So I have cast on another pair of Fairy Lights, this time with the red. I believe this is Cayenne. I also have the Cherry Drop, so I can't say for certain, but I think this is the Cayenne. And yeah, I have started a second sock. I am actually almost to where the heel goes. I am really liking the rounded heel. I've used it occasionally, but I think I like wedge toes and rounded heels. So that's what I'm going to do in this one. I've got a wedge toe. Ta-da! I do asymmetrical ones when I do top down, and I do symmetrical ones when I do bottom up, simply because I have not yet really internalized how to do the asymmetrical toe starting at the bottom and working up. I'm sure I could figure it out. I just haven't yet. So yeah, wedge toe, and then I will do a rounded afterthought heel and keep going up. So I will have a red pair and a green pair, and that'll be 2 pairs of Christmas socks. I knit my socks on 2.0 millimeter needles, always. DK or sport weight socks, I go up 2.5 or 2.25 or 2.5, not that much bigger. The other one that I showed you last time that I had started, I was right there. I was not even all the way through the cuff. I put a Christmas tree charm on, although it is back to front. Stop being back to front. Ta-da! Christmas tree charm. And this is this year's West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas color. And this is Silent Night. It is very sparkly. I took a picture of them, and like the camera kept catching the sparkle, but I don't know how much. I think you can see that. There is a lot of sparkle in this sock. This one was top down, heel flap, wedge toe. Yes, I did do an asymmetrical wedge on the toe. So this is the right foot, and I am currently working on, I didn't really have this very well organized today. I'm currently working on the second one. So I have one toe up Christmas sock and one cuff down Christmas sock. Ta-da! And I am definitely feeling the sock love, because I knit a couple of socks in the last couple episodes. There was a pair for my husband, a pair for me, and a pair for my 7-year-old. Those socks were somewhat faster, although they also had intarsia and embroidery, so let's do faster socks and then make them extra complicated. And I have one more knitting project. I was about to move on. I have one more knitting project I have been working on. This is the Joan pullover by Nihu. I think she's Crystal CK is her, like, her name on Instagram and Ravelry and stuff. This pattern, I believe, is only available on Ravelry. She is starting to add her stuff to, was Love Knitting and something else I didn't recognize the name of, but she is starting to do her patterns in other places. That stitch marker is where we were last time. You could hardly tell that it was a pullover yet. It was just kind of a weird wedgie blob. Working in black, this is Drops Alpaca, is it Big Drop Sky? That's what it is. Drop Sky, which is an alpaca, and it is a chainette. You can see the little loops. It is a chainette ply, and I keep sticking my needles into the little chains and tugging on them, but I don't think it's going to have any long-term consequences visually because it's all just kind of fluffy. There's a bit of a halo. And it is black. You really can't see, like, ta-da! I was supposed to do shaped make ones. I did not do shaped make ones because you cannot see the make ones. You cannot see the stitches in there. I'm almost to putting the sleeves on waste yarn, and then I will block it and try it on and see how we're going, which in this case will just be washing it and letting it dry and trying it on. Black needles, not my best choice, but I was using metal ones and they were too slippery and they were sharper, so they kept splitting the yarn even more. But yeah, I am past I'm past the picking up stitches, excuse me, and I'm almost done with the make ones to make the sleeves bigger, and I'm done with the lace in the front. It's got this pretty little lace v-neck detail, so it has gotten easier. It is pretty much just round and round and round, although doing increases every other row was easier when I was still working it back and forth until I got past the v-neck, and now I have to keep track of whether I'm on an increase row or a plain row, and then the next set is to do some increases every row and some increases every other row. So I really need to be in a good headspace for the next little bit, and as I mentioned, my headspace has not been the strongest, the most detail oriented. I'm not feeling really good at details right now. The other thing I've been working on since last we spoke is this little embroidery. I'm working on the back stitching now. I've done the back stitching on the paws. I think I did that paw, and then I did around the mitten and the berries, and then back and the paw, and I started on Santa's hat, and that is how far I've gotten. It looks so much better for the back stitching. Like, it really makes it, even just the outline, it really makes it pop. So I need to do the rest of the hat and around and the little cat's face. So this is the first of a set of 6 Christmas ornaments that are all cats. I got a kit. Ta-da! So I'm doing this one. Do its little face. And yeah, I'm not going to get these all done this year, but I'm hoping to at least have 2 on the instructions. The chart has the teacup cat underneath the mitten cat, so I think that's the next one I will do, and then I can put, I'm thinking about embroidering this one for my younger child, and my older child is obsessed with ginger kitties, so I can do her name maybe on the saucer of the teacup and put the date somewhere, and or at least the year, and give them each a Christmas ornament. So yeah, to finish these up, I will just cut around the outside of the shape, get some ribbon to do at the top, and then they even have sticky felt, though I don't have any, but just glue the felt down to the backing to cover the stitches if you're the kind of person who wants to judge the back of my stitches. I've been a little careful in some ways because I don't want the threads to show through from the front, and a little not careful in other ways because I'm going to glue something over the back. No one's going to be able to see it. I had one spot where the yarn got all tangled and I couldn't undo it, and I decided not a problem because it won't add added bulk or anything. It doesn't matter if the felt's a bit bobbly. So I'm making that, and I think it is really, really cute. I tend to work on this while my children are at school. I was hoping to kind of do them completely in secret and put them in their stockings, but there was no way I was going to get it done. I was looking for the bag to put this in, but I did not bring the bag. I'm just using a tote bag. I could kind of really use like a cross stitch with a clear panel. I've seen some cute ones. I should probably add that to my Christmas list. Bags to keep cross stitch in. And now I'm looking around, and actually I think that's everything craft wise. I did get just now, just before, like while I had the heater on out here and was making my cup of tea, the postie came and brought me the November set of blanket scrappy minis from the Lonely Knitter, Bumbling Yarns, I think it is. Crafter's Balm and Bumbling Yarns. It's all bee themed. But I forgot to bring it out here. I was going to say I've decided not to show it just so people have a chance to get theirs if they've ordered it, but I forgot it. I tend to get things really quickly. We have a regional depot here in Inverness, so things just go to the regional sort center and from there straight to our house. So things reach regional depots overnight from the day they're posted, and then they get delivered the next morning. So yeah, there's a good chance that no one else has gotten theirs yet. I don't know that anyone who watches this gets the yarn, but it could be. If you like yarn, they are a lot of fun. I had a peek at the colors, and the November colors are pretty. So yeah, that's kind of that. And I've kind of already done my Thanksgiving rant, although I think most iterations of the Thanksgiving rant will be excised because it was not coming out coherently. So yeah, that's where we are. I don't even have anything to talk about family-wise. Oh, I guess last weekend my 3-year-old and I went into town on Monday, and this was kind of the start of my being a bear with very little brain. Went into town on Monday instead of going to nursery. We both had appointments to get our flu inoculations. As a 3-year-old, she gets a little nose spray, and as a grown-up, I get a jab in the arm. So we went into town, and she got a magazine for being a good girl. And then we got a McDonald's and ate it on a park bench, and bought a Christmas present for her sister, and picked out a Christmas card for her to give her sister. And we got a Christmas present for Daddy that she's already told Daddy about. I don't think she's told Christina about her present, but she definitely told Daddy what he's getting. Not that it was going to be a surprise anyway, because he gave me a list of like 5 things he wanted, and he will get all of them. That is how, and other things. I picked up a few other things for him. But yeah, that's the nice about being a grown-up, is you can say, I would like these 3 things, please, and then have a reasonable chance of getting those 3 things. So yeah, then by the time we got home, I was just absolutely, completely brain fried, and my mother made some judgy kind of things like, you only went to town for a couple hours, how is your brain completely drained? And I'm like, well, normally, like if she runs errands in California, she goes to a shop and then she goes back to her car, and she can take her mask off, she can have a snack, she can sit there for a minute, she drives around, she's in her own enclosed space, hand sanitizer before you get in, and you can be reasonably confident that it's a clean space where there isn't anything that can infect you, and you can relax a little. But from the time the bus pulled up at the bus stop until we came home, at the end, like I had the mask on the whole time. At the park bench, I took the mask off to eat the food and then put the mask right there. Another mask. I had a couple masks. And like I was on the whole time. Normally, if I took my child into town for a shopping day before coronavirus, we would have stopped and had lunch somewhere. And I don't mean sat at a park bench. I mean, like, we would have gone to a cafe and sat down inside, and she could have run around and played for a while, and you know, you get some relaxing time. So I will say my 3-year-old was incredibly well behaved, which is not normally something one can say about her. She is all excitement and charging off after every little thought. Like, she has an idea and she's already putting it into action before she's finished having the idea. She's very impulsive, but she was really good. She stayed near me. She held my hand. She did her hand sanitizer when we went in the shops. She was really, really, really well behaved. I mean, she would have been well behaved for any 3-year-old, but for her, it was particularly well behaved. So I was very proud of her, and I was more than happy to give her her magazine that she picked up when we got home. And we did pick up a little something for my 7-year-old because she did get her flu inoculation at school. The nursery kids are not all at school all day. They come, every kid basically has their own set of days and hours they go. So there's no one time they can come and inoculate all the kids. So they say you just have to make your own arrangements for that. But the older kids, the ones who are in primary and I think even secondary school, there's one day when, or maybe 2 days, depending on how many kids there are, but the nurses come to school and they just inoculate everyone. So that's nice. That is definitely one of the advantages of living in Scotland. Especially this year, you don't want to risk having flu and coronavirus at the same time. That seems like it would be really, 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 really bad. And also something that with a weakened immune system, from like if you're already fighting one thing, then your immune system isn't at full fighting weight for other things, you're more likely to get 2 things at the same time. Not great. And then on Thursday, which is my husband's day off, he takes Sunday and Thursday off. On Thursday, when he was watching the 3-year-old, I went into town and got my eyes tested. Not so much because I feel my prescription is out of date, which it turns out it wasn't particularly. It said it was very, very similar and had barely changed at all. But because these lenses, or these frames, are starting to fall apart. I was due for my 2-year checkup when this all started. Gestures at everything. So I've been waiting a while, and I don't know if you can see. I can't see. I've taken them off, so I don't know if you can see, but like the frames are wearing away a bit, and that is certainly true on the sides and stuff. The plastic is definitely showing signs of wear. And while I was there, I decided I was ready to get contacts again. I'd had contacts previously, but I didn't really use them all that much. I have an astigmatism, so with the contacts, I can't read very well because the letters are just a bit fuzzy. And my glasses correct for that. Contact lenses don't. But since we have to wear masks since October half term, might even have been the week after, we've been asked to wear masks at pickup and drop off, even though you don't go inside, just because there's so many people in the same place. So wearing a mask, my glasses fog up, and without my glasses, I can't see. So I got a new script for contact lenses that I can wear for the schoolrooms, so that I can see and safely wear a mask at the same time. But yeah, as a person with, I don't know that it's severe asthma. I certainly have never been hospitalized because of asthma, but I do get horrible racking coughs And then like in the last episode where I started coughing at the end and I just couldn't shake it, that for me is asthma. That is an asthma complication. But I do have trouble breathing, and I have a lot of trouble seeing without my glasses. Like, I'm willing to work around that, and I get really mad at people who are like pretending that they have serious, you know, like, oh, I can't wear a mask, so I don't have to. It's not. I'm like, well, then don't go in the shop. Like, if I couldn't wear a mask, I wouldn't go in the shop. It's the people doing it aggressively that really scare me even. I mean, it's not even just that I'm angry at them, although I am, but it's just the callousness of it. It doesn't make sense. I am absolutely on the side of wearing a mask sucks. I really do think it is not a fun way to spend the day, and I'm sure it is a contribution to the reason why a week later I still am having trouble holding a thought in my head long enough to make a cup of tea. That it's such an easy thing to do to save your own life and save someone else's life. Anyway, I don't understand. So yeah, although I have found that now that I'm wearing masks a lot, oops, sorry, I kicked the camera. Now that I'm wearing masks every day, a couple times a day, it gets easier. The more you do it, the easier it is, the less uncomfortable it is. You get used to it. There have been times coming home when the wind's really cold where I've just left my mask on because my face is nice and warm, my cheeks and my nose and my mouth, like it's better. Also, cold is an asthma trigger for me, so having a mask on means that the air around my mouth is all nice and warm with my own breath, so that is probably helping me have less asthma complications. So who knows, it could actually be better for you. I am pro masks. Even before this all started, I was pro mask for people who are vulnerable to colds like me. If I get a cold, I get a really bad cold. I do not get mild colds because of the asthma complications. And if you have a cold and you don't want to spread it, and if you're trying to avoid getting a cold, then masks seem like such an easy way to do it. And I'm a big fan of stylish masks. I bought a Christmas mask when I was in town on Tuesday. Well, I bought one with snowflakes, which I'm just a winter mask, and then I bought one that's a red and white, and it looks like a nymph print, like a Scandinavian, what the English-speaking countries tend to call snowflakes, but I believe in Scandinavian countries they are referred to as roses, but the big knit snowflake shape. So I've got some masks, although they're really flimsy, and like when I breathe, they stuck to my face, and I think I need to get some filters to put inside of them, if only to give them structure, because they don't seem as nice as the ones I've bought off Etsy. But yeah, masks that match your outfits or your mood, or any message you want to give, like if I don't have glasses, I can't see. Blind person walking through. But I was given a couple of pairs of contact lenses until the new ones come. My new frames will be coming in the post. They said it would take about 3 weeks because they're having to keep socially distanced. The laboratories, or laboratories if you're more British, where they make the glasses is down in England, and England is in lockdown, so it's taking a long time. And they said it would probably take 3 weeks to get my new glasses. And yeah, it was the fastest I've ever picked up frames. They gave me a tray, and then like anything I touched went in the tray so it could be sterilized before being put back. And because I had them in the tray, I didn't go back and forth a bunch of times like trying the same frames on, because they look cute on the wall and they don't look cute on my face. And then once I had like 3 pairs of frames, I was able to say like, this shape looked good, this shape looked bad. So then anytime one caught my eye, I could just kind of hold them up and be like, is it more like this or is it more like that? And then I knew if I even needed to bother trying it on. So like inside of I don't think it was much more than 5 minutes. It was certainly less than 10 minutes. I had a small heap of glasses. I'd gotten it down to 2 pairs. I went over to the mirror, held my breath, took my mask off, put the glasses on. I used to swim competitively, so despite the asthma, I can actually hold my breath a long time. And then the person who was helping me came over. I'm like, I've got it down to 2. I had my mask on. I've got it down to 2. I'm like, these? And she goes, oh, those are really cute. And I took them off and put the other ones on. She's like, those are really cute too. But I preferred the first one. And I'm like, I preferred the first one. Great. Those are what we're getting. And then, they were also having a sale, which was nice. So I was able to get my contact lenses for this discount. And my glasses were half price, which with my prescription is still a lot of money. I do not have cheap lenses. They're too thick. I have to get I'm like a mid-range getting thinner lenses. So yeah, it adds up. But half price was nice. And the person who checked my eyes for the contacts said a lot of people are coming in specifically because the masks are steaming up glasses and contact lenses make it better. The other thing I saw that I haven't tried is someone put a plaster over their nose holding the top of the mask down, and then the steam doesn't escape up into your glasses. So if you wear glasses and they fog up and contact lenses are not an option for you for whatever reason, starting with they're expensive and going down to you just don't want to, or any other reason like you can't, then a plaster over the bridge of your nose could be a much cheaper alternative. And I think that's about all I have to say. We're just over half an hour in. I don't know if I will splice in anything from the original takes, but I don't think I will. But yeah, that's everything going on here. Next time you see me, I may have new frames. I may not. It depends on how long it takes. So yeah, happy Thanksgiving, and we can start putting up Christmas if you celebrate, or if you just like twinkly lights and pretty baubles, then it is twinkly light and pretty bauble season. Thank you very much. I will talk to you in 2 weeks. Bye.